watching News at 10. In our top stories tonight, investigations involve politicians from both government and opposition. Government ramps up fight against dengue. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today confirmed that there are ongoing investigations by enforcement agencies against government lawmakers. He did not name anyone or elaborate on the types of investigations, saying that it was not the only opposition lawmakers who were under scrutiny.
Tidak ada percanggahan dari sudut undang-undang untuk mana-mana orang derma kepada parti politik. Yang dikaitkan adalah soal kepentingan ataupun unsur rasuah kerana pemberian kontrak, dan orang yang memperolehi kontrak itu sama ada dikehendaki atau secara apa juga maksud dia memberikan dana kepada syarikat individu atau parti yang dikaitkan dengan individu berkenaan.
He added whether prosecution will be made or not is up to the authorities, the Attorney General's chamber. He said this during the Prime Minister's question time in the Dewan Rakyat today. Datuk Seri Anwar said this in response to a supplementary question from Datuk Siti Zailah Muhammad Yusof, Rantau Panjang PN, on whether there was any investigation into MPs and political funding received by political parties from the government side. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar has requested the Attorney General AG to relook into the proposal to set up an independent body to investigate and take action on all complaints, accusations and misconduct involving enforcement agencies. He said this is to ensure that enforcement agencies do not conduct their own investigations into any cases or complaints received involving its officers or personnel.
Jadi sekarang saya telah minta Peguam Negara kaji semula cadangan awal supaya ada mekanisme untuk semua badan penguatkuasaan. Ya, kalau ada pertuduhan khas terhadap pegawai SPRM atau immigration atau custom atau polis, maka ada badan bebas, ya, dalam bentuk sama ada Suruhanjaya, saya belum pasti, tapi sudah ada arahan kepada Jabatan Peguam Negara untuk mengemukakan cadangan supaya badan-badan penguasaan ini tidak menyiasat sendiri, tetapi ada satu badan lain yang bebas yang akan menyiasat.
He said this in reply to a supplementary question from Gobind Sunil PH Damansara on the government's measures to ensure that investigations against officers of enforcement bodies such as the MACC are carried out independently. Datuk Seri Anwar said the proposed establishment of the independent body is appropriate because it is more comprehensive and can take action on all complaints involving enforcement agencies. Meetings of the Cabinet Committee to Combat Dengue have been reactivated. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the decision was made after dengue cases surged more than 400% this year. As of 25th of March, a total of 26,222 dengue cases had been reported, compared to 8,124 cases in the same period last year. Death due to dengue fever complications also recorded an increase to 17 cases from 4 cases previously.
Kita telah mengambil beberapa pendekatan di mana kita akan menterlibatkan NGO dan doktor volunteers untuk turun ke bawah secara berjadual, bukan berkala, untuk kawasan-kawasan hotspot.
He said this after chairing a meeting of the Cabinet Committee to combat dengue at the Parliament building. Another prevention method which would be intensified was the use of biogel to trap and kill Aedes mosquitoes, as well as another cheaper method of using Wolbachia mosquitoes, which is a natural predator of Aedes mosquitoes. Also present was Health Minister Dr. Zaliha Mustafa. A salesman was sentenced to 24 months in jail and fined 50,000 ringgit by the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court today for neglecting his 5 pet cats and starving them to death in a condominium unit. Judge Siti Aminah Ghazali handed down the sentence on Lim Chia Lin, 31 years old, after he pleaded guilty to the charge and also ordered the accused to serve 12 months in prison if he failed to pay the fine. The man was charged with keeping the animals in captivity and causing them unnecessary suffering, which ended with the carcasses found in a condominium unit in Bandar Sri Permaisuri between 14th of June and 3rd of July last year. According to the facts of the case, on 11th of March, the complainant, who is the house owner, received a complaint from a nearby resident of a stench coming from the unit that he was renting to the accused. On checking the house, he found several cat carcasses in a cage placed outside the door. 2 days later, when the complainant returned to collect the rent, he found the door not locked and the accused sleeping in his room. With the help of a security guard, the complainant inspected the house and found a carcass believed to be that of a cat and detected a foul smell in the kitchen, which came from a pail filled with mincemeat. 3 people were sentenced to jail and fined for lending their identity cards, MyCard, to illegal immigrants. The accused, Abdul Habil Mubin, 58 years old, and Fatima Hassan, 50 years old, were each sentenced to 2 months in jail and a 2,500 ringgit fine after pleading guilty to the charges read separately before Magistrate Leono Dominic Mugilio. Prosecution was handled by National Registration Department Sabah Prosecuting Officer Muhammad Faisal Tahir, who requested a fair sentence for both accused, taking into account factors of national security and sovereignty. He said that the government spent a lot of money to enhance the security features of identity cards, but the accused's action in providing the identity to illegal immigrants are a betrayal and a serious offence. The court also ordered both of them to serve an additional 2 months in jail if they fail to pay their respective fines. Meanwhile, in a separate proceeding, the court also sentenced Dorina Sueb, 36 years old, to 12 weeks in jail after she pleaded guilty to the same charge before Magistrate Zul Elmi Yunus. Previously, the media reported that the National Registration Department, in collaboration with the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC), had cracked down a syndicate smuggling illegal Filipino immigrants via air travel from Sabah to the peninsula through Operation Lancha. Coming up, 2.1 billion ringgit transactions targeted through MIHAS 2023. 5 more highways have agreed to participate in implementing the open toll payment system that will begin in mid of September. According to Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi, they are Damansara Puchong Expressway, LDP, Sprint Highway, Shah Alam Expressway, Kesas, Smart Tunnel and the Kuala Lumpur Putrajaya Expressway, MAX. This brings the total number of highways involved to 11. The minister, in a posting on Facebook today, said the open payment system will be implemented in phases involving various concession companies. He explained that the negotiations on the matter is an ongoing effort by the ministry and needs to be done to ensure successful implementation of the multi-lane fast flow MLFF system. On 24th of March, Datuk Sri Alexander announced that 6 highways, along with the Butterworth-Kulim Expressway, will implement the open payment system to allow users to pay tolls using other means. He also announced that the Sungai Besi Expressway would be the first location for the implementation of MLFF Proof of Concept (POC). Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siew Fook today expressed deep regret and issued an apology to all passengers of the light rail transit LRT train involved in technical difficulties yesterday.
Saya merasa amat kesal dan saya memohon maaf kepada semua penumpang yang terlibat, terutamanya warga pekerja yang bergegas untuk pulang ke rumah untuk berbuka puasa. Sudah tentu apa yang berlaku pada waktu puncak semalam memberikan kesan kepada ramai penumpang.
He had instructed Kerana Malaysia Berhad to hold a special meeting to discuss and identify what went wrong and caused the technical issues in the train. Loke informed that throughout the past 2 weeks, there have been some reports on technical damage involving LRT and mass rail transit MRT trains. Meanwhile, he also respected the rights of the victims involved in the incident yesterday, who filed a summons onto Rapid Rail Sundaran Berhad and Prasarana Malaysia Berhad. The construction of the East Coast Rail Link (ECRL) project in 4 states, Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang and Selangor, has achieved a 40.81% completion rate so far. Based on the work progress, the ECRL project in Kelantan, covering 43.86 kilometres, is expected to be completed according to the schedule by the end of 2026. Malaysia Rail Link Sundaran Berhad MRL Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sri Darwis Abdul Razak said in Kelantan, the ECRL's progress has reached 51.94%. Infrastructure works for the construction of the ECRL line in Kelantan are actively being carried out, including the installation of beams, which started from the bridge in Jerus, Pasir Putih, and is now approaching the area near Padang Raja Melor. Apart from that, the land reclamation works involving 16 of 19 locations in the state have also commenced. Datuk Darwis updated on the matter in a speech at an ECRL Breaking for Fast event in Kota Baru last night, which was attended by Kelantan Menteri Besar Datuk Ahmad Yaakob. Rubber farmers will continue to receive aid from the government to ensure the preservation of their livelihoods. To boost the development of the rubber industry, the Ministry of Plantation and Commodities (KPK) and its agency, the Malaysian Rubber Board, have implemented various initiatives to help the smallholders, especially those in the rubber sector. KPK explained that rubber prices are determined by international demand and offer. It is also affected by the futures market performance, world crude oil prices, foreign currency exchange rates, and the economic growth of the world's main rubber producing and importing countries. One of the initiatives taken to help rubber smallholders include the Rubber Production Incentive (IPG) and raising the activation price level to 2.70 ringgit per kilogram from 2.50 ringgit per kilogram, with an allocation of 350 million ringgit. Furthermore, the Latex Production Incentive Program (IPL) was also introduced, providing assistance in the form of agricultural inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides, worth 850 ringgit per hectare on a one-off basis. The MRB has also improved the payment process to facilitate the distribution of aid. The initiative is also expected to attract the youth to work in the rubber industry and reduce dependence on foreign workers. The Ministry of International Trade and Industry (MITI) is aiming to secure 2.1 billion ringgit in transactions during the Malaysia International Halal Showcase (MIHAS). The target was made based on the transactions secured last year, amounting to 2.39 billion ringgit.
Physical participation
Its Minister Tunku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tunku Abdul Aziz said halal industry players in the country are urged to take advantage of MIHAS as a platform to explore the global halal market. The potential of the global halal industry is expected to reach 5 trillion ringgit by 2030, with 1.9 billion Muslims making up 25% of the global population.
As the globally recognized largest international halal exhibition, MIHAS has attracted many buyers, distributors and investors from around the world, acting as a one-stop center that provides businesses with opportunities to expand their markets. Secondly, by showing the latest trends and technologies in the halal industry, MIHAS gives businesses insights into the latest market developments and consumer preferences.
MIHAS 2023 will be held for 4 days starting 12 until 15 September at the Malaysian International Trade and Exhibition Centre, MITEC. A total of 14 local heritage craft products from various ethnicities will be featured at London Craft Week LCW from 6 to 14 of May. Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Azizah Haminah Maimunah Iskaria, who leads the exhibition, said that last year the heritage textiles of the Pahang Royal Weave had participated in LCW when it attracted 3,000 visitors, including fashion designers. In a press conference at Istana Negara today, Her Majesty said following the good response, local heritage craft products will be featured as most of the products were made by the older generation and will disappear if not revived.
It does that because you have to know how to choose. I want them to see that what we in Malaysia are doing in preserving, in giving we don't look down on them. We want to show them to the world. We want to showcase the ancient craft that we have that's been passed down from generation. You must remember the orang-orang asal, especially the orang asal and orang asli, kan? They've never had training at all. How could they have come up with all this beautiful design?
The Queen, who is also the patron of the Royal Pahang Weaving Foundation, said 7 craft entrepreneurs would also be flown to attend the exhibition to give demonstrations on the making of the crafts. Team Malaysia's Heritage Crafts, she said the exhibition would also feature interactive workshops in craft making, adding that it is expected to attract 5,000 visitors. Coming up in our foreign segment, nearly 40 people dead after fire at Mexican migrant facility. Alibaba Group Holding is planning to split its business into 6 main units covering e-commerce, media and the cloud, the company said today, adding that each of the units will explore fundraising or initial public offerings. US-listed shares of Alibaba rose 3.5% in trading before the bell. The 6 units will include Cloud Intelligence Group, Taobao Tmall Commerce Group, Local Services Group, Channel Smart Logistics Group, Global Digital Commerce Group, and Digital Media and Entertainment Group. Each of the 6 will be managed by its own CEO and board of directors. The company said in a statement that Daniel Zhang will continue to serve as chairman and CEO of Alibaba Group, which will follow a holding company management model. Zhang would also serve as CEO of Cloud Intelligence Group as previously announced. News of the restructuring comes one day after Alibaba founder Jack Ma was spotted at a primary school in Hangzhou, marking his first public appearance in mainland China in over a year. Jack Ma left China in late 2021, just as authorities launched a regulatory crackdown on the country's tech sector. At least 2 people were killed and several injured in a knife attack today at the Ismaili Centre in Lisbon. A police statement said an unidentified man carrying a large knife attacked the Muslim Centre in Lisbon just before 11 a.m. local time. The attacker was shot after refusing to lay down his weapon and approaching officers with the knife. He was arrested and taken to hospital. Police did not immediately confirm the attacker's nationality. A number of people looking distressed were standing outside the centre in Lisbon amid a heavily armed police presence and were later taken into the building. Prime Minister Antonio Costa said everything indicated that it was an isolated act and it was premature to make any interpretation about the crime. Prince Karim Agahan opened the centre in Lisbon in 1998, complete with prayer halls, classrooms, meeting rooms and exhibition spaces. The community in Portugal is one of the largest in continental Europe, numbering thousands, including many who fled Mozambique during its civil war. Nearly 40 people were killed in a fire at a migration center in Mexico's northern border city of Ciudad Juarez. Authorities today said the fire at the Office of National Migration Institute, INM, occurred after they picked up about 71 migrants from the streets of the city. The cause of the fire or the victims' nationalities have not been released by Mexico's National Migration Institute, who have launched an investigation into the blaze. Andrea Chavez, Ciudad Juarez federal deputy, tweeted that they will wait for the official information, adding that the Attorney General's office has initiated an investigation into the incident. According to witnesses, body bags were lined up near the scene of the fire, which had been extinguished. The witnesses added that most of the migrants at the center were Venezuelan. The fire, one of the deadliest to hit the country in years, occurred as the US and Mexico are battling to cope with record levels of border crossings at the shared frontier. Strong winds fanned the flames of Spain's first major fire of the year on Monday, complicating work for firefighters despite milder temperature. The blaze has ravaged around 4,300 hectares of mainly forest since Thursday and forced some 1,800 people from their homes. Over 500 firefighters battled the fire, which broke out near the eastern village of Villanueva de Viva, where unreasonably warm temperatures neared 30 degrees Celsius last Friday. 3 villages in the combined population of around 80 people, Higueras, Pavias and Torralba de Pinar, were the latest to be evacuated on Monday. They were backed by 23 water-dropping planes and helicopters before night fell, while temperatures dropped on Monday, with the mercury reaching just 19 Celsius. Strong winds of up to 70 kilometers an hour stirred the flames. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said the blaze proved the climate emergency exists. 14 firefighters have been lightly injured while battling the blaze. Officials say Spain's wildfire season now runs on spring to autumn rather than just during the summer. The country is also experiencing long-term drought after 3 years of below-average rainfall. Coming up in sports, national rugby team on top 4 finish in Hangzhou ASEAN. Malaysia are hoping to go one better in the men's sevens rugby competition at the 2022 Hangzhou Asian Games in China after finishing 5th at the 2018 Jakarta Palembang edition. Malaysia Rugby President Datuk Shahrul Zaman Yahya said after the contract signing ceremony with the players today, he hoped the squad comprising experienced players and newcomers will continue to have a high spirit of competitiveness at the international level.
Skuad terdiri daripada 18 pemain yang kita kumpulkan daripada Sukan Commonwealth dan juga projek Nagoya 2026 dan pemain-pemain yang telah bermain dalam Borneo Sevens baru-baru ini dan juga Sukma 2022. Purata umur pemain adalah dari 20 hingga 23 tahun dan dipilih melalui 10 hari ujian saringan yang melibatkan jumlah 28 orang pemain untuk menjadi 18 orang pemain sahaja.
A total of 18 players have been shortlisted under the National Sports Council and Malaysia Rugby Podium Programme for the Hangzhou Asian from 23rd September until 8th October and the Asia Rugby 7 Series. The national team, also known as Bunga Raya, would also be competing in the Southeast Asia 7S in Singapore on 7th and 8th April. And in Thailand on 13 and 14 May as part of their preparations for the Hangzhou ASEAN. Meanwhile, new national head coach Ahmad Fazli Ahmad Idris said the national team training, which started 2 days ago, has not been affected by the fasting month. After a 3-year hiatus, the 2023 Maybank Golf Championships, which is sanctioned by the Ladies Professional Golf Association, LPGA, will tee off at the Kuala Lumpur Golf and Country Club KLGCC in Bukit Kiara from 26 to 29th of October. Maybank Group President and Chief Executive Officer Datuk Khairul Saleh Ramli said the championship, offering total prize money out of about 13 million ringgit, is set to be contested by 78 professional women golfers, including Malaysia's Kelly Tan, with 10 slots set aside for Malaysian and Southeast Asian golfers. He said the championship this year, Team Retake the Green, reflects Maybank's confidence in the women golfers to show their true potential by turning on the style on the greens. Meanwhile, Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Heo, who launched the 2023 Maybank Golf Championships, is confident that the international level tournament will provide a platform for national women golfers to showcase their talent and help boost the country's economic development. She also believes that the hosting of the international level championship will surely help encourage tourism and give Malaysia a platform to showcase not just its athletes but its facilities as well. France defender Benjamin Pavard made a spectacular comeback to the team as his superb second-half strike saw them beat Ireland 1-0 away in Euro 2024 qualifying Group B early this morning. Deschamps made 3 changes to the team who started against the Netherlands, with Eduardo Camavinga in midfield instead of Erling Geroni, while Olivier Giroud was fielded as a lone striker, with Renan Kolo Muani sliding to right link and pushing Kingsley Coman to the bench. In defence, Pavard, who did not play at the World Cup after a terrible match against Australia, was back as right back instead of Jules Koundé, and he made his presence count. Pavard broke the deadlock 5 minutes into the second half with an 18-metre shot that went under the bar after he had intercepted a poor pass from Josh Cullen to Jason Knight. Ireland upped the pressure in the final minutes after France had failed to double their advantage through Adrien Rabiot and Moussa Diaby, and they thought they had an equaliser through Nathan Collins, only for defenders Haida to be tipped away from under the bar by Megan. France lead the group ahead of second-place Greece, who have 3 points, having only played once, with the Dutch third on goal difference after beating Gibraltar 3-0 at home. Ireland are in 4th place after 1 game. In Rotterdam, Netherlands defender Nathan Ake scored twice, and Memphis Depay also got on the score sheet as the hosts laboured a 3-0 home win over 10 men Gibraltar. Depay rose to head home Denzel Dumfries' cross. Gibraltar's goalkeeper Dale Culling got his timing wrong coming off the line to put the Dutch ahead in the 23rd minute. But any hopes at the Feyenoord Stadium of that opening up a torrent of goals was stemmed by some determined defending. Changes from Koeman at halftime, with Cody Gakpo and Daniel Mallan coming on to boost the attack, added more zip to the Dutch attack, and Ake made it 2-0 in the 50th minute. His header went in off the post with Dumfries again the provider. The hosts were handed a 1-man advantage when Liam Walker was sent off for a studs-up tackle on debutant Mats Wiffer 1 minute later. But Gibraltar, who had 2 players aged over 40 in their starting lineup, remained resilient and only conceded the third when Ake's shot from just inside the area took a wicket deflection of John Surgeon in the 82nd minute. All right, that concludes this evening's News at 10. In our top story, investigations involve politicians from both government and opposition Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. We will also like to announce that the beginning of 1st of April, our evening edition will be on air at 8:30 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM. I'm Nur Zamri. Thank you for